Hey there folks, have you fallen victim to something called emotional investing? I'm Aaron Young, Investment Insight starts right now. Hello and welcome to the program presented by The Investor's Way, where each episode we dive into the world of wealth creation and provide practical tips of how you can master your money. Now, emotional investing has the potential to derail even the best financial plans. So today we're going to explore and look into how to recognize the triggers of emotional investing and share strategies to help you manage them, maybe even avoid them, so you can stay on track with your wealth goals. Welcome back to Andrew Woodward from The Investor's Way, who joins us at the desk.
Thanks, Aaron.
Emotional investing sounds to me like retail therapy.
Well, it's not quite retail therapy. It's where we let external influences impact our decision making.
What are those influences?
Well, one of them is FOMO.
Right.
Very much so in the property market. It's this fear of
and the
missing
stock
out.
market, by the way. I mean, look at AI this year. Look at the bubbles that get created, right?
Well, that was going to be point number two, the stock market. And people are fearful that they're always missing out on something, or they see the markets going up and down dramatically, and so they get very fearful and start making those emotional decisions.
Is jumping on the bandwagon of something always an emotional decision, though?
I don't think it's necessarily always an emotional decision, but certainly a bandwagon is always a trigger for me. If there's lots of people jumping onto something like AI right now, there's the risk that we're not necessarily jumping on the right bandwagon.
I think about emotional investing as well when it comes to perhaps being at an auction and continuing to put your hand up because you really love the property.
Yeah, and that was, in terms of FOMO, that's a big one, because we fall in love with these properties that we're never going to live in. And we treat them like they're going to be our own, and they are, obviously, that we own them, but we're never going to live in them. And so that fear of missing out or not getting that particular property overrides the fact that there's going to be another one available tomorrow, the next day, and the day after.
I'd imagine some of the frustrations there, though, would also be, or some of the triggers would be frustration. If you've gone to a lot of auctions and you've been missing out, and you just start to make that decision, I've had enough, I'll pay whatever it takes.
And we're seeing it in Australia right now, where there are certain markets where there are 30 and 40 people arriving to these auctions every Saturday, and it's getting harder and harder to be the winner. And so, you are seeing people make those irrational decisions.
Why do you think it is so common? Because a lot of investors have listened to people like yourself, they've done their research, and yet when push comes to shove, they still find themselves making these same mistakes.
I think the biggest reason is time. And unfortunately, far too many people have left their wealth journey too late in life, and so they feel they're paying catch up. And that feeling of I need to act quickly now because I've got to make up for all that lost time leads to irrational decisions.
All right, so how do we avoid it? Talk to us about strategies. What should we be asking ourselves? Should we be preparing ourselves? Do we need trigger words if you're at an auction to remind ourselves, don't do it? What do we do?
I think it's always about making decisions based on data initially, and not just making an emotional decision. So relying on data, but if you feel like you're being overcome by this feeling of FOMO or some other irrational feeling, take a step back. Take an opportunity to breathe. And like I said before, there's investments available every day of the week.
Well, it's that urgency, isn't it, that leads to that.
That's right.
Instead of taking a step back, if a salesperson makes you feel like there's a level of urgency that if you don't get in now, the price will double, or things will keep going up. I mean, the property sector, that has been the case for some time, that it's that urgency, as you say, that you need to have that confidence to step back.
That's right. Having the confidence, having the data to know what is the maximum I should pay for this investment, and know that there will be another one. And if we're consistent with our actions and consistent with our investing, we don't have to get caught up in the sales process.
Now, Andrew, I cannot allow you to get away with using a word like data without asking you to break it down. What's the data that we need to look at?
Well, that's a whole episode, but in terms of property investing, we're looking at growth rates, historical growth rates, rent returns, all those types of things. Stock market, we're looking at the performance of the stock, not somebody's opinion or not the latest trend. I've had too many people who have invested in lithium on the basis that that was going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, well, look how that's going.
And look how it's going. So it's having the right type of data, and it's performance and historical performance as well.
In your experience, do you think that people who can manage their emotions end up doing better off?
Well, I love bringing this stat up, but women are better investors than men. by 1.4% per annum. And that's because they transact less often than men. We feel like we can beat the market, so we transact more often. And so the simple answer to your question is yes. If you take the emotion out of it, you can be better, and women are proving it every day.
You've made me emotional there. Andrew, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and a quick reminder that the program is for informative purposes only. Always do your own research before making financial decisions. To learn more about how you can master your money, visit theinvestorsway.com.au. You're watching Ticker. We'll be right back.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.